Boba Fett for the longest time was revered as one of the coolest and yet misused characters in Star Wars history. When he debuted in The Empire Strikes Back, he made a big statement with his look, quiet style, and the way he caught Han Solo. But then he was undone just as quickly in Return of the Jedi. Comics and novels helped build upon his legend in the expanded universe, but those were all nixed in the buyout from Disney. And then, The Mandalorian came along and it changed everything, including giving Boba Fett his own show. So allow us to show you how Boba Fett healed from the Sarlacc revealed. Number 6. The new trailer. Disney unveiled a new Book of Boba Fett trailer revealing how Boba Fett healed from the Sarlacc in Star Wars Episode 6: Return of the Jedi. Developed by the Mandalorian duo Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and director Robert Rodriguez, the series is set alongside the events of fellow Star Wars spin-off series Ahsoka. The story centers on the titular bounty hunter as he and the assassin in his service, Fennec Shand, set off looking to fill the power vacuum left by Jabba the Hutt's death in Return of the Jedi. Temuera Morrison reprises his role as Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett following the character's resurrection in the final episodes of The Mandalorian Season 2, while Ming-Na Wen will also reprise her role of Fennec from previous seasons of the mainline Star Wars series. Rodriguez, who helped bring Fett back to life in The Mandalorian, returns as the director of multiple episodes of the series alongside Favreau, Bryce Dallas Howard, Filoni, Steph Green, and Kevin Tancheron. After starting filming in late 2020, production on the Book of Boba Fett was wrapped in June of 2021, with the show set for a December premiere. The video gives a glimpse at the bounty hunter's journey to becoming the next crime lord of the galaxy, as well as revealing how Boba Fett healed from the Sarlacc in Return of the Jedi. Since Boba Fett's proper return in The Mandalorian Season 2, audiences have been eager to learn how the character survived his encounter with the Sarlacc. The new Book of Boba Fett trailer may not offer a concrete answer to this mystery, but it does offer the first glimpse at how he seemed to have survived and healed. With the video highlighting a glimpse at the Tusken Raiders of the desert planet of Tatooine, with Fett's narration of being left for dead there, it seems likely that the planet's natives rescued Fett or helped nurse him back to health after he somehow escaped the Sarlacc himself. The Mandalorian saw the Tusken Raiders get a better expanded depiction than in the films, with Din Djarin learning of their communication via sign language and enlist their help in defeating the Krayt Dragon of Season 2's premiere, the Marshal. With the Book of Boba Fett likely to take place on Tatooine as the bounty hunter and Fennec seek to take over the territory once owned by Jabba the Hutt, it's likely the Tusken Raiders will factor into the story in some capacity. Only time will tell how deeply the show will explore Boba Fett's Sarlacc survival and relationship with the Tusken Raiders when the series premieres on Disney Plus on December 29th. Number 5. Answers. There will definitely be a number of answers, Morrison said. Some long-winded answers, some short and sharp answers, some colorful answers. We're filling a lot of gaps. Now that is honestly what we, the fans, want from this series. You know, aside from Boba Fett being an absolute boss in a fight and such, and apparently we're going to get plenty of that as well. Answers is something that the TV series in the Star Wars universe are better at answering than the movies. Looking at you, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. And so even though this is potentially only the first season of many for the Book of Boba Fett, we need to know these answers as soon as possible so that fans aren't left hanging for too long in terms of what happened to Fett and how it sets up all that is to come. Number 4. More on Boba. Officially speaking, as noted earlier, the Book of Boba Fett is going to be about Boba filling in the gaps in the underworld left by Jabba, but doing it in his own way. As we've seen in the trailers, Jabba ruled through fear, while Boba wants to work via respect. Unofficially, Temuera Morrison shared some details with Rotten Tomatoes in a June 2021 interview, where Morrison said that we're going to see Boba's past. Specifically, Morrison explained, we're going to see his past and where he's been since The Empire Strikes Back. Somebody pointed out he's been kinda stuck in this one place, and now's the time to actually go back in time and check out his journey and find out more about him. Now this is an interesting thing to say because part of Boba's lore has already been filled in via the movies and the Clone Wars cartoons. But we honestly don't know much about the adult life of Boba Fett before he was introduced in Empire Strikes Back. So potentially we'll get to see some of that as he pushes forward with a future that he wants actual control of. Number 3. The cast. Morrison will of course reprise his role as the title character, He first played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones. The late Jeremy Bulloch portrayed Boba Fett in the original trilogy. Ming-na Wen's Fennec Shan stood by Boba's side in The Mandalorian, and we'll see more of her too. As for other cast members, only time will tell. And that is part of the mystery of this series as a whole. In the trailers, we see Boba bring in a lot of underworld characters, including some very familiar races to those who know Star Wars history. As a result of that, we're bound to get some new characters to expand the lore of this mostly untapped part of the Star Wars universe. But in terms of true big names, including only Morrison and Wen for now, and that is more than enough to get the hype going. Number 2. Behind the camera. Director Robert Rodriguez, who directed the absolute hell out of his action-heavy Mando Season 2 episode The Tragedy that introduced Boba Fett back into the Star Wars universe, will be an executive producer on the show along with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, and will also direct a few episodes. Bryce Dallas Howard will also direct, and Ludwig Göransson, who has done the music for Black Panther and Tenet, will compose the score. Now this is good for various reasons because The Mandalorian is absolutely the thing that brought the Star Wars universe back to prominence, not the sequel trilogy, especially not those last two movies, and so they need to have the right people behind the camera in order to ensure the quality that a show starring Boba Fett needs to have. So thus, going and having some of the OG crew from the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian making the Book of Boba Fett, yeah, that's a winner right there. Make Boba great again. So here's the thing, Boba Fett may be a legend in the Star Wars fanbase, but it's not exactly because of him being the best character story-wise. Because in canon, he ended after Return of the Jedi. The Mandalorian was the show that helped bring him back to prominence via his very epic return, to the extent that they were willing to give him his own show versus just making him a cameo to please the fans, which the sequel trilogy knows all about. Anyway, the main point of the Book of Boba Fett is to rewrite history for the better and ensure that Boba is as appreciated as those who read his expanded universe works know him to be. So far, it is clear that this is going to be the case. It's not just going to be an action story, it's going to be one that delves into what Boba Fett wants, what he desires, and how he will go and get things done. Yes, there will be action, the trailers have already shown that. But for the first time in a long time, we get to see Boba Fett doing things and showing things we didn't see before from him. And that, above all else, is exciting. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at the Boba Fett series to come and how we seemingly learn how Boba Fett escaped from the Sarlacc pit? Do you think this will help bring more people to the table now that they are given an answer of sorts of the mystery? Do you think that the Book of Boba Fett will be as good as The Mandalorian? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the channel.